We have some breaking news coming in from tonight, and up to 15 people will be allowed at indoor gatherings, and masks will once again be required in all indoor settings. We are told these will be temporary as of 5 p.m. tonight, but right now let's head to Acting Premier Jacinta Allen for the latest.
From New South Wales. That traveller is being tested as a matter of urgency today, and we're working closely with New South Wales Health to investigate their movements in New South Wales. The to New South Wales prior to the Victorian border permit system being put in place. We are urging anyone who visited the Smile Buffalo Thai restaurant in Blackrock on the 21st of December to go and get tested as quickly as possible, to then quarantine at home, and also please contact the health department of their situation. The department is also working with the restaurant to identify all the staff and patrons who attended on that night. In terms of our testing numbers, a total of 3,875,893 test results have been received, and that number is an increase of 13,097 since yesterday. It is great to see such a strong testing numbers, and we thank Victorians for continuing to get tested. If the first sign of any symptoms, we want to continue to encourage Victorians to go and get tested and then isolate until they receive their results, because we know from our experience over the course of 2020 that this testing approach is what helps keep our communities safe. Also too, as a result of the information being gathered from our team, Victorian exposure sites are being updated regularly on the DHHS website, and I'll get Jerome to run through these exposure sites very shortly. But our message today to all Victorians, if you've had a look at the sites that are on the website and you've been to any of these exposure locations, please go and get tested. Jerome will run through the extra testing capacity that is being stood up today to provide for the additional opportunity for Victorians to go and get tested immediately and at the first sign of any symptoms. Now, turning to tonight and obviously moving into the new year, and of course tonight is New Year's Eve, and every Victorian deserves the right to mark what has been the most challenging year for all of us. However, unfortunately, what we know with this virus, this rampant, difficult virus, is that it doesn't end at midnight tonight. And it's to the great credit of the public health team who have worked throughout the night to provide us with some new information, and it's this new information that we're providing today that will help keep Victorians safe. And it's quite remarkable to think that from just over a 24-hour period, there has been, from the first notification of a positive case, we have information to hand. There's 50 close contacts have been identified, spoken to, and are also in isolation. And Jerome will also add to that detail about those close contacts. This has been a remarkable effort from the public health team, and it's as a result of this effort and this information they've provided to the Victorian government that we do have to make some further announcements about new restrictions that are being put in place from 5 o'clock tonight. From 5 o'clock tonight, the limit of people gathering in private homes will be reduced from 30 down to 15. So if you are planning a party for, tonight, you will need to reduce your numbers from 30 down to 15. And we certainly do apologise to people who have put plans in place, who were looking forward to having events in their home or in other people's homes. But this is a necessary step. It's on the advice that we've received overnight of the new cases and of the exposure sites, and we do need to take these steps to help keep Victorians safe. Also too, from 5 p.m. tonight, masks will be mandatory indoors. So if you're planning to leave your home, at the moment, obviously, we're asking people to carry their masks with them. We're now asking people to wear a mask if they are indoors in any location that's not their private home. And that also applies, as I said, from 5 o'clock tonight. Also too, on other New Year's Eve events and activities, as has also been previously advised, if you are planning on coming into the city, only people with a booking at a hospitality venue are requested to come into the city. And we are also too reminding people as they're moving around over the course of New Year's Eve and into New Year's Day, if you are sick, if you have any symptoms, please don't go out. Get tested and then go home and isolate until you get your test results, because we know that this is key to how we keep Victorians safe. Finally, and Minister Foley will talk a little bit more about this in a moment, a reminder to anyone who's been in or has visited Wollongong or the Blue Mountains in New South Wales from the 27th of December will have until 11:59 p.m. tonight to return to Victoria. This is very important that people think about their travel plans, and as we are seeing what's emerging from New South Wales is that this is a very dynamic situation. We are monitoring it very, very closely. And the advice about travel, the advice about how people can come back into Victoria could change at a moment's notice. And we don't want Victorians to get stuck, and we're asking them to particularly consider their travel movements if they are thinking about travelling into New South Wales in the January period. So with those comments, I will hand over to Jerome to add further information about testing and case numbers that have emerged overnight.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Good morning, everybody. So yesterday we identified 3 new positive cases. Those cases were first identified in the early afternoon. Over the last 24 hours, we have retested those individual cases and we have established that they are indeed positives. There is one positive case, a female in her 40s in the Mitcham area, another female in her 40s in the Mentone area, and a family member of that individual who is in the Callan area, a 70-year-old female. I'd like to start by saying all those 3 individuals did exactly the right thing. They became symptomatic, they came forward, they got tested. And it's only because they got tested that we're now able to identify this particular cluster and to start the important work of identifying anybody else who may be at risk in the Victorian community from the infection that, through no fault of their own, they have contracted. We have established over the last few hours, we've currently contacted 52 close contacts of those 3 individuals. Those close contacts are across a wide area of Melbourne, and there are also those close contacts include people in Leongatha and in Barwon Heads. This shows, particularly this holiday time, how widely we all travel and how widely we all meet. And we've seen, of course, and quite naturally, a number of significant private gatherings involving these individuals over the last week, as many of us, of course, have enjoyed. We've identified a number of exposure sites on the basis of these 3 current positive contacts. Those exposure sites include, in particular, the Smile Buffalo Thai Cafe in Black Rock and the Holy Family Parish Church, a Catholic church in Doveton. Now, both those particular locations have been incredibly cooperative overnight, and of course we recognise the huge impact this will have on those organisations and of course their congregations and other patrons of those facilities. Both those facilities have good contact tracing systems in place, good QR systems in place. We'll be working with them over the coming hours to extract that information and to contact the parishioners, congregation members of the church, and of course anybody who's dined at that particular cafe during the period of time. The exposure period for those locations are for the cafe in Black Rock on the 21st of December in the evening, and for the church, the Holy Family Parish Church in Doveton, the 26th of December. So those are exposure sites. We will be contacting people who are registered and having been at those locations in those time windows. We will ask anybody who has been at those 2 locations in those time windows, you must get tested, you must isolate for 14 days. We will be in touch with you to do that. If you think you've been exposed, if you know you've been there, please contact us at DHS on 1800 675 398 and we'll deal with you immediately. We expect the number of close contacts to continue to rise during the course of the next few days as we continue the contact tracing work. I can also confirm that we have an additional 3 cases so far today who are amongst that close contact group. And again, those people are all getting good support and good care. We will look after, continue to work with them to identify any contacts that they have and their secondary contacts. Of course, as we all recall from now over a couple of months ago, our approach to these cases is not only to deal with close contacts but also contacts of contacts. We will, over the course of the coming hours, be also putting out a further ring and asking anybody who knows those close contacts to also isolate, to get tested, and to quarantine for 14 days. We will throw everything at this to make sure we get this outbreak under control as quickly as possible. As the Minister said, we have identified a potential link to a returning traveller from New South Wales. I'd like to thank the team at New South Wales Health. We've been in extensive communication with them overnight and will continue to do so to establish any genomic links between the individuals we've identified, the cases we're seeing here, and any of the New South Wales outbreaks. We also continue to, of course, to explore any other potential linkages. I can confirm at this stage there is no identified connection to our hotel quarantine program. There is no identified connection to any other vulnerable settings at this point in time. But of course, as we continue the work of contact tracing, I'm sure we will continue to update you on those developments. Can I also just add, we of course have hundreds of people now working on this who've started work on this at about midday yesterday. Not only people, of course, within the wider COVID response in DHHS, but also the teams at Monash Health, Austin Health, Barwon Health, and La Trobe Regional Health. We have an extensive set of PHUs that are now pushing hard on following up the contact tracing and ensuring we support the individuals who are caught up in this. I'd also like to recognise that for certainly the 52 close contacts, the now 6 positive cases, and the growing number of people we'll identify over the coming hours, this will be a difficult time for them. It is a difficult issue to have to confront, and of course there'll be a large number of people facing into a significant period of isolation and quarantining as we work through the necessary linkages, as we work through the testing, and we work out how far this virus has spread in the last 10 days. We are, of course, setting up now additional testing sites, particularly in the eastern suburbs. I can confirm at this point we will have the Don Tatnell Leisure Centre drive-through site open in Parkdale. That will open at 11 o'clock shortly. We also will have an additional site at Wantirna at the Trash and Treasure Market. That will open at lunchtime today. And later on today, we'll open up the Eastern Health Maroondah Club in Ringwood. There'll be an additional testing station there. We're also putting a lot of additional testing resources into our existing testing stations. I would encourage anybody who has connections into the exposure sites, I'll read them out again in a moment. If you've been to those exposure sites on those dates, you must go and get tested today. You must go home and isolate and then wait for further instructions. Again, anybody who's got any concern about their health in any part of Melbourne, in any part of Victoria, this is a really important prompt that this virus spreads wildly, it spreads quickly. If you have any symptoms, you must go and get tested today and isolate until you get your result. If you're unclear where your nearest testing centre is, please contact us, go to our website. There's plenty of information out there. We really need to do what we did so well over the last few months, which is to work together as a community and get this thing under control quickly. Finally, let me just confirm that the current exposure sites, but these will be updated continually during the course of the day. They will continue to evolve. As I've said, the 2 areas of real concern are those patrons at the Smile Buffalo Thai Cafe in Black Rock on the 21st of December, the parishioners and congregation of the Holy Family Parish Church in Doveton, particularly on the 26th of December, the Fountain Gate Shopping Centre on the 26th of December, and in Glen Waverley, the Century City Walk and Mocha Joe's on the 28th of December, and finally the Catialo Restaurant in Oakley, again on the 28th of December. Full details on our website, full time slots on our website, and as I say, these will be updated continually over the coming days. I'll now hand over to Alan, who will work through the proactive measures we're taking from here on in. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. So I thought I'd outline some of the things that we're doing as a government and things that we want Victorians to know and do. So firstly, as Jeroen's outlined, we're standing up all the contact tracing and testing sites in some of these areas. We're contacting a number of vulnerable settings, so aged care, hospitals and high-risk accommodation settings. There will be limits on visitors to aged care. There's going to be screening of people that are required to enter aged care facilities, and we're checking on their stocks of personal protective equipment and their preparedness plans. We are going to mandate the use of masks after 5 o'clock today. So obviously it has been a requirement that people carry a mask. We want you to use it. In indoor settings. Obviously there are exceptions for medical exemptions and when you're eating and drinking, but when you're travelling to wherever you're going tonight after 5 o'clock, we want you to wear a mask. There's also going to be an additional restriction on private gatherings. We do recognise that this is New Year's Eve. The restrictions will be shifting from 30 to 15. The things we want Victorians to do is, if you were planning to go to New South Wales, we want you to very strongly reconsider that. This is a very quickly changing situation, and we don't want you to be trapped in New South Wales. If you are already in New South Wales, we want you to come home. For people that are in Victoria, please keep an eye on the public exposure sites on the department website. They will be updated during the day, and please follow the instructions listed on the website if you have been to any of those places. If you're at all unwell, please get tested, and there's a number of additional testing sites, particularly in the areas concerned, where you can get tested. And finally, just a special shout out to the restaurant and the church. They were able to provide us with contact details because they kept records of the people that had attended their locations, and particularly for tonight, and but also as an ongoing measure, we do want venues and facilities to keep records of who attends, so that like we have today, we're able to contact people in the case of an exposure.